welcome to Gear Talk. I'm Chip.
I'm Chris.
This is Annie.
And I'm Brooke.
And on welcome to the Mickey Mouse Club. On this episode, this is your holiday winter gift guide
For your favorite swim runner.
Yes. If you're looking for a partner, have a partner, aspiring to a partner that is just out of reach, we might have the gift that'll take you over the edge.
To earn their friendship.
To earn their friendship. Oh,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah. To earn partner status.
Buy your
And to
way
earn
into
your-
your partner.
And to earn your stripes as a swimrun ambassador.
Yes.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
But before we get too far down that road, we have sort of gear updates. Does anybody have any new gear updates they'd like to inform the world about?
Seavenger SeaSnug.
Oh, boy.
So I hadn't
Everybody
done a
drink.
whole lot of
Take a shot, everybody.
Brooke.
I'm
Take
like
2
cringing
shots.
over here.
Brooke, take 3 shots. Just prepare yourself here.
Okay.
I hadn't really tested them much on overland on foot missions.
Yeah.
And I wore them on a walk in the neighborhood and I got a blister on my instep from the sea.
no.
Oh, so I'm not even going to wear them running when I can run again, but I do love them and they make people smile and they make me smile. So
So all you
Sisters,
people who
you know.
bought the Seavenger SeaSnug on my recommendation, because I know how influential I am, just mail them to me. I'll give you my address, and I would love to have multiple pairs.
that's Brooke's first installment in the holiday gift guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on my list.
So I have a mini update, which this will lead into
A new
I'm
segment.
a little bit of
Oh.
foreshadowing to a new segment. But I wore my SurfEars earplugs
Ooh.
during a race for the first time, and it worked amazingly. I could hear Chipper.
A non-issue, as you
It
might
was a
say.
non-issue. It was a non-issue. So
You couldn't use the excuse anymore that you can't hear him.
yeah.
Couldn't
Well, I
just
mean,
ignore
I
him,
probably still try to use it, but he knew.
but
Yeah,
he
I-
figured it out.
Yeah.
I kept yelling, I know you have the surf ears.
Yeah.
I know
Greg,
you
I
can
read
hear
the
me.
box. I read the
I know you can
label.
hear
It says
me.
you can hear me.
So let's transition. We're
Let's
putting
shift gears.
a shift gears. We're doing a new segment that's only going to be applicable when there's races. Where if any of the 4 of us does a race, we're going to do a segment that we're calling. What
Gear
are we
shifters.
calling it?
Gear shifters? High, low?
High, low. High gear, low gear.
High gear, low gear. That's the name's a work in progress, but we think that's what it's going to be.
Tentatively, high gear, low gear segment.
Yeah. So the idea for this segment is, as I mentioned, let's do a gear breakdown of what you wore at the race and whether it worked or didn't work, what you changed, not change, what you're surprised about, stuff like that. So Chipper and I did, sure everybody knows by now, Swimrun Austin, Ödyssey Swimrun Austin. And Chipper, why don't you tell us what you were wearing?
I was wearing Gucci.
Like a who wore it best.
And this
Yeah.
is like a carpet, red carpet. Chipper,
Yeah.
what are you wearing? And we'll add some
Who are you
flashing
wearing,
bulbs.
Chip?
Flashing bulbs sound like, paparazzi.
I was going to do I can't even remember her name. Joan Rivers' voice, but I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Tell us who you're wearing. No, that's a horrible impression.
I was wearing I used my new Speedo Vanquisher 2.0 goggles. No fog issues, which has been my bane of my existence in the lap pool this whole year. I raced in my Arc Orno 2. Under that, I had my kangaroo top I had 2 or 3 spring gels and a Martins gel, 2 Martins gels, one of the CAF 100s. And I had my little speed cup that Ödyssey gives you. I think it's a Hydro Pack thing. I wore just my regular kind of swimming, athletic underwear, Swiftwick knee-high Aspire 12 socks, and my Evo Speed Goats. And my Keel Plus on the buoy. And on the hands, I downsized my paddles from the Arc Blades Large. And Chris was so kind to lend me his Arc Blade medium size. So I went with the medium paddles. And I think that's all the gear.
So what was your high gear, like the best thing that you were like, yes, definitely wearing this next race? And your low gear, like, I'm going to mess around with this a little bit and try to fine tune it.
That's a good question. One thing that I thought was locked was my shoes, actually, my Evo Speed Goats. And I was just talking to this with Chris. I feel like that. So the thing with the Evo Speedgo, why it makes a pretty good swim run shoe is the top or the mids. Wait, not the midsole. The upper is this mesh, and I have a couple 100 miles in that. I wore it on a 50 milers and tons of trail runs, and I think it's just a little bit too stretched out. I felt like my foot was kind of rolling over my, the sole of the shoe a little bit, so I need to kind of revisit the shoes. But my thing I was most impressed with, I believe, was the Keel Plus, and it just worked perfectly. Had no issues with it whatsoever. That the trick that Chris showed me to like mount it in the front, like against your stomach when you come out of the water and then shift it around, worked out perfectly. I never had any issues with it sagging or riding down or being anything. It just worked really great with the lasso setup that I have. That's what I was wearing, and I had contacts on.
Yeah, you had contacts on. I was not wearing contacts.
And question, how were your repaired armpit holes in the Orno 2?
They did fine, and nice. I was actually pretty concerned with the heat because it was Texas, and there was some forecasting showing into the 80s on that day, and they were saying water temps maybe into the 70s, which that had me very, very concerned.
Yeah.
So I was getting really jealous of Chris's Arc Vig to spoil it. Sorry. I'll
his like nothing underneath approach.
Yeah, and so, but it actually turned out to be kind of the perfect day. So I had no issues with my armpit holes, but I probably maybe Santa will drop me something nice this year from the wetsuit.
So Keel Plus, high gear. What was your low gear? And it doesn't necessarily mean it like failed, but that you just kind of want to mess around with and dial in a bit better.
I think I want to dial in the speed goat.
Sorry. Do you think it was like laces, like maybe the laces got loose or something?
And I have noticed the last couple swim runs I've been doing, I'll tie my shoes up normal tautness, and then over time after one or two, they get really loose.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I need to cinch up the laces a little bit more, or I might just try a different type of shoe.
Yeah.
Because, for the amount of running that there was at that race, I could have got away with something a little bit more minimal that maybe would have been a little faster. But, I don't think I could have pushed any faster.
Yeah.
And if you missed our race report, go check that out.
Yeah, definitely check that out.
Chris, who are you wearing?
So I was wearing Arc.
Ooh.
Chic.
From spring 2019 line. Actually, I don't know when it would be. Yeah, so I was wearing my Aquasphere Cayman goggles, and I was wearing an Arc Vig with a kangaroo top underneath and nothing else. So I was going commando on the bottom half, which is I've been doing that pretty consistently at this point, and I think I'm just going to keep doing it. And I had Swiftwicks Aspire over the calf, so the 12s, and then I was wearing my Solomon S-Lab Amphibs.
I noticed that.
And I had Keel Plus pull buoy. I had Roca medium paddles, and then I had this little waist belt that we'll talk about it in a second. That's I forget who makes it.
Ultimate Direction
that just has a couple zippered pockets where I put in the compression bandage and glues and things like that.
You wear that on the outside or the inside?
On the outside.
Outside.
And that'll be the low part of it.
Okay.
I think that
I was kind of had a feeling that might
we were getting. I mean, I feel like now that I'm using a kangaroo top, I probably didn't need to wear that, and I was wearing it basically just to attach the tether, but with the lasso for the pull buoy, it was just kind of getting muddled. And at one point, I had to unclip because I was all kind of like,
tangled up.
All tangled up.
Wires were crossed.
Yeah. So I think I could have gone without it, and I just need to essentially figure out how to attach the tether so that it doesn't. Because I've noticed when I lead swims, or if I'm just attached with my pull buoy lasso, it actually kind of like sags a little bit, goes down below my butt.
Interesting. Because it's being pulled back.
Because it's pulling it back.
I also will say as a team. Oh, sorry. That's your low. And what was your high gear? I already know.
Yeah, it's the Vig, man. The Vig was the perfect suit for the occasion.
For that temperature.
I've used it in cold water, so it was actually pretty interesting to use it in very comfortable water. The water was refreshing to get into, like you wanted to get into it because it just felt so nice. And I think I would unzip the vig to put my paddles in for the long runs and things like that, and take the swim cap off and the goggles off. But I never cabbed down because I just didn't need to.
Cool.
But yeah, it was great.
And what I was going to say actually about our team, I think one thing we need to work on a little bit from a gear perspective is we need to get a different bandage. We were seeing some people have smaller,
like little tiny ones,
smaller bandages, and we got this big thing that
Like how tiny?
Yeah,
so
like
I
think,
like a cigarette pack or something.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
I-
that
that's what
supposed
Marcus
to
was-
bandage? Your pinky toe?
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you actually need a compression bandage, a little
Yeah.
skinny thing isn't going to do
Yeah.
anything. So I guess I was following the spirit of the law with the one that we've had for 4 years and have still never used. So, I mean, knock on wood.
But man, when you need it, you're going to be
Yeah.
it'll be
grateful
nice
that
to
you
have
have
it.
something that can go around your calf, not just your
yeah,
pinky
and
toe.
I think I can put that in the kangaroo top. So
Yeah.
And it's
no
pretty.
problem.
It's super lightweight, right? It's just
Yeah.
bulk.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I think other than little stuff like figuring out a better tether attachment, I thought I was really happy with my gear choices.
We had another learning experience about gear as well. For some reason, I took it upon myself as the keeper of the tether to fiddle with it and shorten it up. DIY'd it myself. I went ahead and over-engineered that thing way too
Did
short.
you guys do the lay down test?
Well,
no, I did it by myself without Chris here. It was
well,
a horrible.
it also
it was a horrible
and
idea.
Chipper admitted after the fact that he didn't tell me he was doing it because he knew I'd tell him to stop. Because that, it's
That is
kind of
like betrayal number
I
one.
mean, I was trying to be, I was a little passive aggressive, but I was like, I think that falls into the if it ain't broke, don't fix the category.
Yeah, and I was like,
yeah.
So were you guys just whacking each other's feet on the
No,
sides?
no, we
we-
tested it out one time before the race, and then I went back and made a really long one.
Yeah,
That
and then
was
and
too
then
long.
during the race,
Oh man.
what I would do, especially for the first couple swims, I would unclip and put a knot in it to shorten
Yeah.
it up, and then
To shorten it up.
after 3 knots, it was the perfect length. So
Yeah.
we're never going to change it ever again.
You got to do the lay down test, and you never ever
I-
change the umbilicus on your partner without informing them.
Absolutely. Well, let's just
Chip,
dive in.
on that
yeah.
How did those gogs work out for you? They have a pretty small field of vision, if I recall.
I had no problem with them. And
Nice.
honestly, every time I was swimming before, I was getting foggy goggle syndrome every 100 thing. It was just
FGS.
annoying. Yeah.
That's not cool. Yeah.
And so the fact that these I could just see out of them, that was all I needed.
That's true. All right. Cool.
Now I usually raced with the Roca R1s, but they cracked. The nose piece, it's like rubber. I've had them for like 6 years or 5 triathlon seasons. And
Yeah.
they cracked, and I went to order them, and they didn't have any. They're out of stock, so I had to go elsewhere.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah, those are my go-to goggle as well. And I also experience nose piece cracking on a
Yep.
yearly basis, but they have an awesome warranty.
Okay.
Just not something that you'd want to have happen in a race.
Yeah, they
Exactly.
might
This is
be out
not
of
a
stock.
goggle episode, so
They
I'm
might
going
have
to.
stock.
They might be out of stock because
STFU.
they were mentioned in a triathlete column where we mentioned them as the best goggle.
Oh, so they probably had a run on
Yeah,
them?
I
Yeah, I'm
think so.
sure. We still haven't
sure
got
And we
that's
did
what it
it.
is.
We mentioned him on Gear Talk too. People are listening.
Oh, yeah.
People are listening,
Yeah, they are.
and for you 10, thank you.
You are appreciated.
We love you.
So,
And P.S. Roca, stock more than 10 of your products.
yeah, FYI. So let's get into the holiday gift ideas. We kind of try to break this out into 3 different buckets. We have a $20 to $30, sub $30, $25 range. We'll call that kind of like the stocking stuffer or
White elephant
white
gift.
elephant gift, whatever, that kind of ranges an office party situation. So we got some ideas there. Then we have a sub $100 range, so somebody a little bit closer. And then we have, you're going to go bonkers, max. You've been in the doghouse. You need to get off the couch, whatever it is. You shortened your partner's tether without telling them, and then,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then try to race with
You're on
it.
the naughty list, and you need to get on the nice
Yeah.
one.
Exactly. So,
I'm sorry, baby.
please take me back. I won't do it again. And so we each have one contribution to these, but we thought this would be a good show because one, you have all your Cyber Monday deals, Black Friday, the holidays are here, and if somebody's a swim runner, you'll have 12 different ideas of things to get them, at least from this episode. So let's just kick it off with the white elephant $25, $30, $20 gift. Annie, what say you?
I say every swim runner, possibly except Chris, likely enjoys a caffeinated warm beverage in the morning, probably coffee. And the Ödyssey Swimrun hand-thrown, custom-glazed 14-ounce coffee mug is gorgeous. Made in the USA. We have one at our house, and Brent and I sort of like sneak it out of the others' rotation because it's awesome. And it has a really gorgeous logo on it that features actual swim runners doing actual swim running. I happen to know that it's the silhouette of the Dirksons, the Boston Red Sox team.
Oh, really?
Who are
like, you know how Jerry West
legendary.
is on the NBA logo? Yeah. It's the Boston Red Sox. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great gift.
So,
yeah, and you can get that on the Ödyssey Swimrun website. Go to their store. It's $30 and it's classy.
It is a unique mug, and it's a good mug. Okay, Chris.
Okay, well, I'm going with something that's super practical, but we get so many questions about socks. I just think if there's a swim runner in your life who's interested, curious about the sport, it's all about the Swiftwick.
I think I know what you're going to say, Chris.
Yeah, it's all about the Swiftwick Aspire.
Oh my god! I forgot to out loud place my bets on who was going to pick what.
Oh yeah, that would have been a funny pre-show bonus episode where we try to guess what each other says.
Yeah,
I think I know what everyone's
the Swiftwicks have a variety of lengths from like no show to over the calf, and they range from $14.99 to $29.99.
Nice. All right, Brooke, why don't you take it and I'll wrap it up, and then we'll switch it up next time.
So, of course, I was going to say the Seavenger
SeaSnugs.
Yes.
But then I thought, you know what? Chris is probably going to choose that one. And then, shockingly, he didn't. So I had a backup, which I say is the Zogs Predator Next Gen. They're my swim goggles. Oh. They're $16.99. They have wide lens, great peripheral vision. They don't fog on me. I've used the same pair for 2 years, and they're super durable.
Nice.
Durability is good.
It's key. Mm-hmm. It is key. And I went with the swim stretch bands, like swim bands. They're actually on sale now, the training stuff. So it's on sale on Amazon for only $15.
Ooh.
And so basically they have their rubber tubes and they have swim paddles attached that you put your wrists through. And you there's tons of videos on YouTube. Maybe we'll even do one.
There's also a bunch of fail videos where they attach it wrong and it hits you in the face.
You basically,
those are great.
Yeah, you tie it around a pole, or you loop around a pole, and you could do different swim exercises, dry land type stuff. So if it's super cold and you're not swimming outside, but
if there's a pandemic and you can't go to a pool.
I brought them to Austin with the intention of using them to warm up in the morning. But I did not do that. But the intention was there. So
I think that's good. I think that's a good gift of the times.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Yeah, and if you listen to our latest episode with John Stevens, he was talking about the bands
as well. All right. Any more just general stocking stuff for White Elephant thematics?
I mean, I would say if we're gonna, I'm sure we would all agree, like, hey, people need gels and things like that.
I always think that's a really good one.
Yeah. So, if no one's tried, people in my life, if they haven't tried precision hydration, I'm probably going to throw some at them, something like that, right?
I recommend Science and Sport. That's our gel of choice. Oh
yeah, those are good. Yep. Those are like the hydro.
Yeah, you don't need hydration with it.
Nice.
Well, you do, but you don't need to take a swig with every gel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So that's good stuff there for sure. So let's turn the dial up. Sub $100 here. I will actually kick this off. I am going to say, based on I'm going to kind of cheat here a little bit. If they've been doing swim run and they're just getting started and they're kind of getting into it, your partner or whoever, you can't go wrong with either the new Lapa bra, shirt, Arc kangaroo thing,
Oh, interesting.
undershirt. You can find that at swimrunlabs.com.
I thought you were totally going pool buoy, which you can also get on swimrunlabs.com.
You can also get that on swimrunlabs.com. So the undershirt. So either New makes one, they make the Lapa. We talked about the bra in one of our last episodes. They also make a shirt. And then Arc has similar one, just a little bit different style. Those are all sub $100.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Options.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
I'll go into further detail on that one. I did go the pull buoy route. And this is kind of an unsung hero pull buoy, but we sell it on swimrunlabs.com, and we picked it because it is the Goldilocks of pull buoys, in our opinion. It's
Like
the
just
new Orza pull buoy, and it's for the person who would look at one of the Mondo pull buoys and just say, like, that is too much to put in between my thighs, or that is too much to strap onto my body if I'm going to run around. It's got that super high buoyancy. It totally blows the buoyancy of a standard pull buoy out of the water. It's a couple centimeters shorter in the width and length than the keel. And so it's a little more low profile. Like if you're maybe under 5'9" or someone who doesn't feel like they need max flotation at the hip, someone with really good body position on the swim, it's a powerful pull buoy without any extra. So
Probably
that's
also
what we
good
love about it.
for if you're doing like a thigh mount, so it's not just
Totally,
as much stuff
yeah.
sticking out.
So you're not going to have
Good
like
call.
a separate body width out there. Yeah, so that's $50 on swimrunlabs.com, and I love that thing.
Nice.
It also comes with a cord, right?
Yep, it comes with a mounting
Ooh.
cord,
Full already.
and it
You don't
is
have to.
already threaded through the pull buoy, but you can do your thing with it too if you want.
Nice. Chris?
I'm going with the SurfEars 3.0.
Okay.
If there's anybody who needs to wear earplugs for whatever reason, and you're engaged in swim run, it doesn't have to be the SurfEars, but that technology, I think, is for a good partnership in a race, in an event where you need to be communicating with people and sort of hear things, like someone in distress or whatever. I was super happy with them. They're $59.99, so it's not a cheap thing. They have a little lanyard, so you can't just lose them, which, that would be a bummer. It has a bunch of spare parts, so you can fit it right for your canal. And yeah, I mean, they worked great during the race. It was a complete non-issue, and I think, yeah, I'm really glad that I invested in it, because I just think from a teammate communication perspective is a good thing.
So I brought that up to my hubby. I was like, you need to get these so that you can hear me yakking at you the entire time we go swimming. And he was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. So I think that for a good partnership is relative depending on what makes your partnership succeed.
Right. Yeah. So buy this for your partner that's on the fence about it. Be like, hey, now you have to listen.
I got you these. Brooke, I think you're up.
So I was kind of thinking of a swim runner who is into swim run, or like they've maybe done one and they're like, yeah, it's pretty cool, but they're not quite like in the whole community. And I thought something to like bring them into that community would be a Wild Swim Run annual club membership. And that's $58. And what I like about it is it gives you like weekly online training sessions. And then of course you have access to like all the other people in the club, all these like amazing women. They also like give you a gear consultation. So to help you kind of just like fine tune your gear. You get discounts on their sponsors like Vivo Barefoot and Good Coco and Utila. And then their proceeds, of course, go to scholarships and camps for like youth who are trying to get into the sport. So I just think it's a pretty awesome. I just love those ladies, and I think it's an awesome club.
It is awesome. And another thing that's going to be popping into that membership around the new year is a women's specific training plan designed by Swimrun Labs.
Sweet.
Ooh.
Oh, I love that.
Nice. That should be a mandatory. It should be like a swim runner membership fee. Like just for your annual fee, just whatever. You just get this.
Yeah.
The hand is forced. Now we're we're taking the top off. There's no limit, no cap. I don't know what you've done to be in this position that you need to buy this level of gift for this person, but maybe you love them this much. But there's no limit on this. So where does that take you, Brooke? I'm going to snake it right back around double.
So, I'm thinking lifetime supply of Seavenger SeaSnugs.
That's $59.
Thank God you're not trying to get out of the doghouse with me.
No. I thought this is for someone who is obviously into swimrun. And sometimes entry can be a barrier into, like, these competitions can be quite expensive. So I thought a Orca Island long course swim run entry. Maybe it depends how much in the doghouse you are. Like if you're just tiny in the doghouse, get it by January 15th and you're spending $450. If you're really in the doghouse, surprise them June 16th, a few months before the race, and pay $650. So yeah, I would love it if someone gave me an entry into a race, particularly actually if it was over in Europe. But if not in Europe, in the US, I would choose Orcas
And
Island.
if you do get the Orcas Island, you have the chance to race with the one and only Swimrun Labs. That's a bonus.
Definitely race
not just
Swimrun
there.
Labs.
Bonus.
But you get to race with the Swimrun Labs in their home turf, which is something to reckon with.
In their element.
Yes.
In their element. That was great. That was a great one. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say this is probably really obvious, but I'm gonna actually say the Arc Vig.
Oh, nice.
Because if someone is into swimrun and they're all about it, a new wetsuit that's more specific, that's not one they're going to use all the time, but they'll be glad they had it for that one. So I think of it as the person that has everything from a swimrun perspective. Now they have a singular focused swimrun wetsuit. And that's my choice.
How much
And
does that
that is
cost?
$430. I don't know if there's going to be any, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, but who knows? Who knows? Now we go to Annie, I believe.
So I kind of had a beyond the beyond year of swimrun idea
Ooh.
that included. So this, I would say, would be for the person in your life who is a super strong athlete, has a great attitude, sort of your dream training buddy or race partner, or just someone who you're this is a person we just need to get into the swimrun community. But and as soon as they're in, they're going to love it, but maybe they lack resources, or there are some barriers to access, barriers to entry. Maybe I'm particularly passionate about just empowering women to believe that they are enough to get on a start line. I think it's pretty common that there's sort of this hardcore ethos around racing. And we all know that at a swim run, you get on the start line and you're in a family. You're not in some showdown. And so the recipient of my year of swim run would be a woman who has a lot of enthusiasm, has maybe some athletic background in one of the disciplines, but not the other. So the first installment of Year of Swim Run would be kit essentials. And I would probably go with my bargain kit that I put together for our bargain kit episode, just because when you're starting out, you want good, reliable stuff, but this is a year of swim run after all, and we have to save the best for last. So starter kit, budget kit, and then we go to Europe. All expenses paid trip to Europe for a wild swim
Annie,
run camp.
you shouldn't have. That's so kind of you.
Yeah, but you're already in swim run. But we need to find someone who we can give this to, and then get some sponsors to sponsor a scholarship for year's swim run. So we go over all expenses paid trip to Europe so that we can participate in one of the wild swim run camps. Or if we're lucky, they have partnered with Swimrun Labs to do a camp in the USA, which is in the hopper, but who knows what's actually going to happen in our future in this time that we live in. So wild swim run camp, wherever we can get to one. And the cost of those they're about $650 for, I believe, for like a 2 to 4 day experience
Yeah.
with lodging and amazing skill workshops and a great community of women who are all coming together to learn and share skills and grow into the sport. And then we would hire John Stevens to coach our team. He is a swimrun coach for
This
Purple
is like a
Patch.
sky's the limit.
Yeah,
type
man.
thing.
Someone
I
said
freaking
that the
love
sky
it.
was the limit.
You
And
took it to heart, I gotta say.
going for it. So yeah, John was interviewed on the last Swimrun or Low Tide Boys episode. He's great, super skilled, can coach anyone to where they want to be and meet their goals. And then I would give them a choice entry into either Odyssey Orcas Island or Odyssey Casco Bay. They're very different races, and people are drawn to different things. And right before that race, I would give them a kit upgrade with like all the primo stuff.
Damn.
And then I would be totally broke and I would eat beans and rice for the whole next year.
But you would be out of the doghouse for a lifetime.
I wouldn't even be in the doghouse to start. This would just be like, we're doing it.
And then they would donate a kidney to you.
And a new car.
Yeah. Yeah. This is totally like one of those Price is Right finale shows, and.
But that was a
new
very
Winnebago.
thoughtful.
That was super.
That was a very thoughtful response, and that is an amazing gift. I love the thought. Chris?
This is maybe the 10-year plan to create a scholarship fund for that to manifest.
Hey, well,
That would
we're
be-
all about raising money for scholarships. So
That's true.
did
Finally, a
raise-
good reason from my calendar.
Did
idea.
raise enough money for one person to attend a swim.
Yeah,
swim
that's
camp
awesome, you guys.
whenever that actually happens. But
But
yeah,
that's awesome. It's there for them.
so for me, I followed more of an Annie approach, which is just, hey, if the sky's the limit, that means that there's no bounds.
Sure. Oh boy.
So behind door number 2, you can select a 1-week Attila Malta vacation package. Arriving on Malta, on the island of Malta off the coast of Italy on April 15th in time for the World Series event on the 18th, and enjoy the island for a few days after the race. Flights from San Francisco would be around $2,000. Hotels will be around $800 to $1,000. Food and drinks probably $400 or $500, depending on how much you drink. And the race entry would be, actually, I don't know how much it is because they haven't opened it for registration yet, but it would be probably like
600,
600
yeah.
650. Yeah, and that's what I would do.
That's
Chris,
a sweet package.
I have been
Nice.
meaning to tell you this, but you're in the doghouse with me.
I am.
Whoa.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I was like, I am? I mean,
Yeah, there
I
was
am.
that
Let's
one
go.
thing you said on that one episode that really got to her.
I can't even put my finger on why.
No,
I'm
yeah, we
just
don't
saying
know
that
the
you
why.
are.
I don't know why,
I'm
but
just
I just
generally
know I
mad
am.
at you.
Yeah,
That actually happens to
something
me a
deep
lot,
within me
so.
is welling up, and it's anger.
You sound like my wife. Yeah, so Malta would be a great race to use.
Is that the
Chipper's
top of your
gift
bucket list?
to use Chipper's gift, which would be the VIG,
Yeah.
right? It would be a great gift. It would be, if for some reason there weren't any races in the U.S., Brooke, you can, pony up and send someone to Malta, and it works for Annie's sort of global thing. Maybe the swimrun camp is in, the one they do in Spain, and then you just fly over to Malta from there and then do a race. Boom.
No problem.
So basically, we're all sending someone we love to
I
Europe.
feel like
To
that's
Malta.
what we just agreed
The
to.
island of Malta. Why?
Wow.
Why
I don't
not?
know. Why not?
Well, I'm really excited for the holidays now.
Yeah, this is like changing my wish list entirely.
Great. And I think I do think I know some people are really against the gift card idea or whatever, but sometimes it's people like the simplicity, and I do think gift cards to Odyssey or Othello or Wild Swim Run, so that somebody, because these race fees are definitely expensive. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to buy someone a gift for $100, I'm not totally sure. An Odyssey gift card for $100, I mean that takes a good chunk of the entry fee away, and
And
really
as
makes
the
it
wife
easier
of
for
a race
folks.
director, you'd be giving 2 gifts because you'd be giving the gift of a future race to
That's true.
your swim run buddy, and you'd also be giving the gift of investing in a future race to the race organization.
Yeah,
which,
I like
let's
the
admit,
idea
they've
of
been hit hard this year.
supporting
Yeah.
like
That's a good
the
point.
U.S. race directors too, like just because it's still pretty new in this country. So if we can do
Yeah.
anything to kind of build the sport in
Absolutely.
this country,
Absolutely.
idea.
And for someone who works kind of in that industry, I don't know if a lot of people know, pretty much every race outside of like the Boston Marathons of the world are really crowdfunded, right? So by people signing up early, that's how, you might think, 1,000 people show up, everyone pays $100, you make all that money. It's not. I mean, so much of that money is spent ahead of time. It's really like it's very
a
speculative.
service. Yeah.
It's like a seed investor kind of
Exactly.
situation.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Hope everyone has a great holiday.
Safe holidays. You
Yep.
travel.
Yep. Don't
Maybe
hang out with more than 10 people indoors.
wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Be safe.
If you're in Washington State, don't hang out with more than 5
Anybody?
people indoors.
5 people.
It's 5 up there.
No more than you don't hang out with anybody.
Don't
outside
hang
your
out with anyone
family.
outside your pod, and no more
Yeah.
than 5 people outdoors. Just like, get far apart and sing loudly to one another.
And swim and run.
Wow, Chipper with the golden pipes. I think we should
Yeah.
probably just end on that.
I was trying to end on a falsetto. Is that what? I don't even know. Okay. Goodbye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Gear Talk with the Swimrun Labs. You can learn more about all things swimrun at swimrunlabs.com.
If you have any questions or requests for us to review on the show, send us an email at lowtideboys@gmail.com.
Make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to this and your other podcast, and leave a review if you're so inclined.
We'd like to thank Writing Easy Records for our show music, and of course, Annie and Brooke for sharing their wealth of knowledge with us.
We'd like to give a huge shout out to our wives for letting us do this sort of stuff. And until next time, be sure to go out there and go for a swim.
And then a run.
And then another swim.
And then a run.
Might as well throw another swim on there.
And a run.
And then just keep going.
Okay. Don't stop. Won't stop.
Can't stop.